Word. I guess I'll start
Loud
recording now.
keyboards.
All right.
Yeah.
I need to get the game set up, actually.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mute your phones. All that jazz.
All that jazz. Oops.
So what's the plan?
I think I got it going. Let's see.
I need to shut my door,
Yeah, there we are.
but I can't get up because I'm not wearing.
Oh no. All right. You guys ready to start?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Hey everyone, it's February 1st, and the second episode of Ultimate Breakdowns. I'm Tony Kane.
I'm James Gaynor.
And I'm Tim Barzak.
And today we're going to be going into a heated matchup from 2012, I believe. Doublewide from Austin versus Seattle Sockeye. And we're going to try to break these game down into a couple different themes. We're also going to, I lost my train of thought. So we're going to break down some themes. We're going to break down how each... Yeah, I lost my thought again. Let's...
We're gonna talk about some of the offensive strategy, some of the defensive strategy that's going on. This game is also known for only having 5 turnovers as well as a fight, so it's a pretty interesting game, a pretty fun game to watch. Edited down really well. It's a quick video, so we're gonna have some fun with it.
Yeah, this video by Ulti-World's pretty stripped down. There's no in-between time and points, so it's going to go pretty quickly.
Yeah. So me and Tony just wanted to start off. Actually, I'm jumping ahead. We are going to talk about our league games this weekend first, and how league went for each of us. James, I feel like you have the most interesting take on league. So do you want to go first or last?
I'll go first.
All right, let's hear
Get
it.
gay out of the way. Okay, cool. So my team, we really mean well, and we do well early on, and then we shit the bed routinely. We went up 6-2. We were playing a 13. The opposing team, Mike Alley's team, ended up taking half 7-6. So they go on a 5-point break where they just, they don't, their D line just stays on. Phil Mantel shows up about that time, and our morale goes in the pooper. And then from there, it got crappy. There was a lot of wind. I know you guys experienced that. So
yeah, it was a very
really
windy
destroyed
Sunday.
teams, so
It really was. Yeah.
And Mike Alley has come out with a sleeper squad, I believe. Coming out with some young bucks. B-list, C-list out of the draft, and he's coming up on top. I also think Pepper's team is coming out pretty strong as well. I think Tim can account for that. So speaking of, how did your day go, Tim?
I'll hit on that in a second. I just want to go back to Mike Alley's team real quick.
Okay.
And mention two like really sleeper picks. I think though on defense. Hey, what's up, bro? On defense, Kelsey's here.
Forgot my cleats.
You're the worst.
Got my cleats. Hey James, Tony.
Man, she's late to practice. She better go.
Really is. Their practice started at 8:04, and it's 8:04.
Like, yeah, sure.
So unfortunate. I thought we taught her better than
Yeah,
that.
if only we had locks
really
on doors or
did.
something.
Okay. All right. So back to Mike Alley's team. The sleeper picks I'm talking about are the Baldwin brothers.
Yes,
Cody and
definitely.
Nick Baldwin. I think it's a great tandem pick. I'm not sure how Mike did it, but
Right.
Nick Baldwin is an athlete. And
Yes, I don't think
just
he was the sleeper. I think
works
his
hard.
brother more so was the sleeper, and I don't think
Yeah.
anybody expected it. Expected that to
Mhm.
come out so well.
Yeah, so I think, and Phil Mantell is a really good pick on that team. Can just bomb it deep to Nick Baldwin, who's pretty big in the air. I think Nick Baldwin's gonna be a great player once he learns the game a little bit more and settles down. He's
Yes.
kind of got a hot head on him right now, but you know,
Which a
that's
lot of
whatever.
college players do.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
he'll be a standout player once he gets in his prime.
yeah.
I definitely
For
think
sure.
so.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my game went well. I think we won 15-2, 15-3.
Ooh.
And I kind of feel bad because like we're not really trying to like stomp teams like this. It just happens. Like, I mean, we have a really deep squad. Peppers really picks well. We got Dylan Brazil, Chris. I can't think of his last name. Sam, I can't think of his last name. I should probably know their last names. But they're just like solid players that can throw the disc, don't turn it over much, and play great defense. And we threw a zone this weekend in the wind.
Yeah.
Just a trap zone. And I mean, I played wing, just kind of cut off those wing swings. The disc really never came towards me. But just shutting down that wing side and forcing it all to kind of the weaker break side of the disc.
Were you in the hole this week?
We were in the hole, yeah. So the wind wasn't as bad over there, but it still had some effects. And Dylan, I don't think pull in bounds, but half of them just went out the back was the problem.
Mhm.
He just pulls them out the back, which is crazy.
So you had an
Yeah,
up-down
so
wind. You didn't have a crosswind.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See, on the
which
main
helped-
fields, we had a
helped little
crosswind, and it was pretty terrible.
bit. Okay.
Yeah, it was terrifying, really.
Yeah, it was.
You know,
Yeah.
force with the wind and,
Mhm.
wait for them to turn it over on the sideline. Tony, how'd your game go, briefly? 'Cause I feel like we're taking a lot of time here.
No, it's fine. It went okay. Pretty slow. I just came off of an injury. I got cleared to run on Thursday, thank goodness.
That's
So
right.
that was very nice after playing Ultimate at tryouts all weekend for Night Watch. We went against Blake's team. They were missing Shibish and another person, and we were missing most of our handlers. So I had to come back and handle for most of that game, which isn't really my strong suit or preferred position, but it went well. I think we lost by 5 or 6. I'm not sure. It wasn't a complete stomp, but it was a pretty terrible loss.
Right.
And
The win was definitely
we
playing D for
we
sure.
thought we might come out with a win this week. We have gotten stomped in the past couple weeks, so we were hoping to pull one through. But Blake
I know that
Waldron,
feeling.
we were playing against Blake Waldron. If anybody knows, pretty strong thrower. He had a couple good cutters. Neil, I think, was one of his cutters that he was bombing to in the crosswind. That went pretty well for him.
Oh, new guy, new guy, Neil.
One of the things that we went wrong with is we probably should have hucked and set early. That's not something we thought about till late in the game. I think if we did that, we probably would have came out with a win. But, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But we did. There was a lot of frisbee to be played this weekend, including Night Watch tryouts, which Tim and I went to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we can mosey on into that subject. Where you want to start off, Tim?
Sure.
Sure. So I guess we start out with a classroom session. I don't know how much they'd like us to divulge or whatever, but I don't think they.
Yeah, I don't think we
really
need to go into all the team secrets at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep those close to the heart.
But yeah, we just went over some defensive schemes in that in the classroom, and just went out and practiced them. We got put into tables, which were our teams for the weekend. Me and Tony actually got put on the same team, interestingly enough, for the weekend. With 6 other guys, a guy named Brian Griffith, I know from Nashville. He's a pretty fun guy, good player. A guy from Carlton named Ethan Dunham, Went to Carleton, graduated in '07. That's when he graduated. So he said
Good
been out of
year.
the game for a while. Great year. '07, great year.
It was a good year.
A Prairie Fire player named Kyle. I can't remember Kyle's last name for the life
Yeah,
of
I
me.
can't
I
either.
really need to get better at that. But he said he played Prairie Fire for 2 years and coached it for a year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He
Let's
did.
see. We had a guy from Dayton, Ohio, went to UD, named Allen. Allen also played on the Indy Alley Cats for 2 years as a defensive player. Was that? Let's see. So Kyle, who am I missing, Tony?
We had a old Revolution player also. I can't remember his name. Was that Ethan? Or am I
I thought that was Allen. That was Allen.
Alan?
I remember. Maybe.
it-
Yeah.
a second year Revolution in the second year player.
Mm.
So he
Yeah,
looked
so
pretty
you mentioned-
familiar to me. I don't think I had ever played with him, but
Yeah.
there was some talent there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
so
talent coming. There's a lot of talent coming back to Nashville in general. I think they're really trying to build their program out.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love seeing all this talent kind of come flowing into Tennessee from Kentucky.
Mhm.
Yeah, from the north is really where it's coming from. Not a whole lot from Georgia or Alabama, other than Tom and a few other people coming from Alabama, which is great. But
Yeah.
other than that, so Tony, do you want to go over how I guess our team played and how some other teams played?
Yeah. So basically, it was a defensive practice. We were working on defense throughout the whole practice. It's something I think our program lacked a little bit last year. And I think the coaches and the captains and the owners know that. I thought we stood out pretty well, considering that we were kind of the team that no one expected us to be there actually at tryout or at practice. I mean, because we didn't RSVP, so we just kind of showed up and made a team out of ourselves, and we stood out pretty well. Saturday more so than Sunday. I thought I was pretty sore on Sunday from the injury and being out of the game for about 3 weeks.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. It was Friday and Saturday, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But I thought it went pretty well. Also, hustle tryouts were this Saturday, and I saw a picture on Facebook that went pretty well for them. So good for them.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Tony, I just want to. What do you think personally? Best play of the weekend? Your best play of the weekend.
My best play of the weekend. I thought I did pretty decent playing a ratchet handler. That's not something I play often. That's not usually my role. I'm usually a middle cutter through and through. I run my butt off. But I handled the disc pretty well. I had one drop on Friday night, and that was my only drop, I think. So, trying to get those throwing skills up while I get my legs back under me and start workouts again.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. What about you, Tim? How do you think you did? What was your best play?
That was a loaded question when I asked you.
Yes, I know.
I think I played pretty well. A few mistakes here and there, like one or two minimized. I think my best play, the hand block I got on the sideline over there.
That was very
That
nice.
first throw, Kyle had a great pull, just pulled it down 5 yards out of the end zone, rushed down there, cut off the first option, closed it in. I think the kid's name was Chris, who's trying to throw it. Tries to step around and
That's
just
right.
pop, just hand blocked it right down. So that was I think my best play of the weekend. I think that was pretty standout. But yeah. So I guess jumping into news. Want to go ahead into that?
Sure. Take us away, Tim.
Yeah.
Where do you want to
Okay,
start?
So I want to start with language and ultimate defensive positioning. I want to start with you because this was my favorite article that I read this week. Article by Kyle Weisbrod on UltiWorld, published on the 27th, January 27th. The article is called "Language and Ultimate: Defensive Positioning." If anyone wants to go read it. So he
And I can post that in the chat
there's-
also.
Yeah, go for it. He's talking about how there is there's not a lot of consistency in Ultimate language. We experienced some of that this weekend. We were talking about some defensive schemes, and other people called it one thing, some other people called it the other thing.
We did
And
have a
this
lot of
was
variance there.
yeah. And this he goes over two things. It's a pretty short article, really quick read. Defensive angle and defensive distance, and how to kind of get a consistency on those to teach newer Ultimate players really easily. So he has four terms for each defensive angle and defensive distance. Excuse me. So for defensive angle, he has high, level, low, and inside. So as Ultimate players, we can extrapolate from that. High would be playing above your man and forcing him under. Level is playing honest, and low is forcing him out away from the disc. Where inside would be playing for the inside break. And if we use these terms across the board when we're teaching Ultimate to kids, when we come into college and when people start playing club, it's going to be a lot easier to start teaching them how your team's going to play.
To expand onto those ideas. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier to expand and whatnot. Defensive distance, he uses tight, neutral, loose, and poaching. Poaching is a pretty unilateral term for everyone, but the other three are not. Tight, as you can assume, would be playing right on your guy. We used to say, put your hand in his pocket. You know, that's how close you want to be. You want to be able to reach around and put your hand in his pocket. Neutral would be playing fairly aggressive, but also not just bumping up onto him. And loose would be kind of that in between of poaching and being on your guy to where you're loose. And obviously, poaching is playing out in the lane, keeping an eye on your guy, but
Maybe
not playing
covering a
super tight.
poach, covering a deep, covering the under, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any opinions on this or anything you want to add?
Well,
good.
there's a lot to go into that because you can use all of those in any given time. It's all about the timing and the spacing of the offense on how you defend it. And I think this is a great article on how to learn a little bit of that. Of course, you have to take this into reps and learn exactly when is best to play what type of defense. But I think it's good. I think it's a great article.
I think that's something we can touch on in our video. We can talk about these angles and the defensive distance as we watch this double-wide Sockeye game here in a little bit.
Definitely.
Okay.
I think so too.
We'll do our best to use those terms.
Well, for sure. Jumping into the next, San Francisco Flamethrowers coming out they signed 8 revolver vets this week or this past week. Let me go through these names real quick. Robbie Cahill, Christian Johnson, Russell Wynn, Joel Slackett, I hope I pronounced that right, Sam Canner, Patrick Bayless, Devin Anderson, and Nathan White. Robbie Cahill is a pretty fairly common name, household name in Ultimate, and been playing with Revolver for a while now. His handle back there, if I can recall. Christian Johnson, we know from that University of North Carolina team. I believe he was on it when he won nationals. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys.
I'm unsure.
But
Yeah,
pretty positive. Let's see. Russell Wynn, another name that's been out there. One I want to highlight on is Nathan White. Nathan White, if anyone listens to the Tuesday Toss off of Ulti-World, their podcast, Nathan White is someone that was mentioned on there as an up-and-comer. I played against him before on UTC. I mentioned him last week. Pretty solid player. Just real lanky, and moves pretty well for how lanky he is. Good defender, and can make some plays. Yeah, words are hard.
They are.
Yeah,
they are very hard.
So they also released with this announcement their whole roster, and two other people that I want to point out: Simon Higgins, fairly household name, and Byron Liu. We know Byron from Chain and Emory down south. actually played on Turbine this past summer.
Which is
Um,
a Florida team or Florida,
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Sorry,
Was North Carolina Turbine was the team to counter Ring
Ring
this
of
year.
Fire. Right.
Ring of Fire, yeah. So they actually played.
That was
Ring
also a
in the
good game to watch.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. We stayed and watched that. James, did you stay and watch that game at regionals?
No.
We watched a little bit of it. Great game.
If I did, I was not sober.
It was a very heated, intense
That
game.
is A-okay.
I
But
know
yeah,
I
real
probably
great
wasn't,
game.
but anyway.
Little background behind that. Byron hurt his shoulder. Hurt something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't a shoulder, but he got injured at the beginning of the season. Told Shane he wasn't sure if he could play, not to hold a spot for him, but let him know if they went up on the team. Apparently, he didn't hear back from Shane at all. Comes around, he got in touch with Turbine. I'm sorry, I can't remember exactly who it is. The captain of Turbine was.
Bode, I believe. Body.
Bode, yeah.
Bode?
No, was it Bode? No. You know what? Doesn't matter. Who cares? We'll look it up and I'll get back to you on that one. But he was in contact with Turbine, started playing with them when he was healthy, and then Shane actually contacted him and said, "Hey, so are you gonna play with us?" He goes, "No, I'm already playing with Turbine." And Turbine actually beat Shane to go to the game to go. So I think for Byron that was a great hey, F you kind of thing.
I think so. Also, Chain has had a rough patch this past season. You know, they're a young squad. They're used to being the man on top of the hill, I think, and the southern region has really kind of been turned on its head, I think, with all the Florida teams. Chain's kind of stepping down. Tennessee has a new team. There's talk of Tanasi coming back and showing out. Bullet's actually a pretty good young
there you go, Bullet.
team. Freaks is doing pretty well themselves. So it's just heated down here in the South. So
Yeah, I'm excited for the club season. So,
definitely.
Yeah. So one more thing I want to touch on, and then we'll jump into this game, is the WUGC Team USA tryouts concluded in Florida this week. There's a write-up on it in Ulti-World. To be honest, I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but we touched on it last week. So what do y'all think for Team USA? What do y'all think is the next step for them? I know Bamasex put out a poll to see if we were in charge, if the people were in charge of picking the USA team, who would be on it. So do y'all have some picks? Give me one or two picks that you think are going to be standout players for the USA.
The Open team?
Any team that you think someone's going to have a big impact on.
Well, I know Jimmy Mickle was injured right into the tryouts. He didn't get to compete too much on Sunday. I think he rolled an ankle, I'm pretty sure. At least I think that's what the Ulti-World podcast said. So if he's healthy, he's definitely going to be a game changer. I think he's still getting into his prime, getting into his final stride, you know, coming out of his college career and into this big AUDL scene, getting ready for that. I think he's going to be a game changer.
Yeah. James, you got a pick for me?
From what I read on that article, basically everyone that showed up in the tryouts was a solid pick. You know, there's a lot of raw talent there. From what I remember, who did they pick out? There was Chris Cocker was one of the bigger, kind of like bigger names for that. But, you know, they're just going to have to work on building chemistry. That's pretty much the vibe I got, was that, you know, there's a lot of raw talent, but there's like so much talent and so spread out that there's not very much chemistry at this point. So they're going to have to work on that and then look up from there.
Yeah.
Did you guys listen to the Ulti-World podcast at all about the West Coast tryouts?
I did.
One of the interesting things that kind of caught my attention where they were talking about how hard the tryouts were and how many reps they had to take during tryouts. and everybody competing and getting worn out after the first day of tryouts, and they had to go into second day of tryouts, and it wore them out even more. Um, and I forget who was doing the podcast, but they were wondering if that's necessary, or if splitting the squad and diluting men's and women's teams into mixed teams is the right way to go. So you guys have opinions on that at all?
I think definitely, yes, it's definitely the way to go. You want to push people. You want to see how they do under pressure. You want to see how they do when they're tired. You want to see where they stand and how they cooperate with other people when they're frustrated, because that's the real life. I mean, that's game time situation in competitive ultimate. You're going to have to work really hard. You're going to have to grind. And if you can't do that together, then you can't do it alone. So
Right.
I 100%, I think that's, it's awesome. That's what it should be.
Yeah, I agree with James. One thing that you really want to test people on is how well are they going to play game to go Sunday. That's always what we talk about when we talk about tryouts and not. And on a one-day tryout or a two-day tryout where they're not playing the whole day, they're not playing game after game after game, you got to simulate how tired they're going to be on that game to go on Sunday. So I think you got to time them out and see how well they play. We always when we're talking about ultimate training, we're like, hey, you need to do this so that you can you do some lunges so that you can cut late in the day on Sunday. Get your squats in so you can cut late in the day on Sunday. So I definitely think you need to get them tired. As for the men and women separation, I think you were talking about that. I know one thing they were talking about on the podcast was the last World Games when USA was stacked on the mixed team and then ended up losing the Opens final.
Right.
Me if I'm wrong.
And that
The
was
Open
their
final.
concern, is because they got into the game to go and they lost in the finals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that is not an easy task to have, and I wouldn't want to do it. There's a lot of good players, and I think they can balance them out real well to get all three teams to at least the finals and hopefully sweep for this year. So, but yeah, do you want to go ahead and jump into this game?
Sure.
Too.
All right. So again, we're going into Ulti World's coverage of the 2012 ECC game of the tournament, Seattle Sockeye versus Austin's Doublewide. And there's a lot going on. This game is very stripped down. There's no time in between points. So if we have to stop and come back to something, we're going to have to take a second, get us all coordinated, and then go again. So I'm at 1 second, guys, and I will begin right now.
Cool.
Awesome. So while this game is starting, first pull up. One thing I just want to mention to keep an eye on is the Sockeye's quick handle movement and Doublewide's use of physical play. Sockeye works a lot through number 23, Danny Karlinski. And the big defenders of Doublewide really put on hard marks and play physical defense. So keep that in mind as we see, I believe, Kieran Thomas from Doublewide. Stephen DeRoe, my bad, score the first point.
And that's something we can touch on, especially during halftime, is the physical marks. And they always bump on the mark, especially in the second half of this game. And that's something we can touch on a little bit later to try to get their throwers out of their comfort zone, get them into a bad decision, get them into a tough, tight spot, and to also take time off of the stall count. So we'll see that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another quick throw just outside the end zone. Let's see. I can't see the
We're
numbers
going to go
there,
dump around.
but quick.
And a quick pass to the middle.
There you go. Score for Sockeye, 1-1. So we've already watched this game. But before you watch this game, Tony James, who did you want to see win this game?
What do you think?
I had a feeling that
nice
this
hammer
was
in
the
the middle.
year that Doublewide went to nationals and won it, which, spoiler alert, Doublewide won nationals in 2012. And
Yeah,
that's
fun
that's
fact.
who I thought was going to
Great
win it.
hammer over the top there.
Because
Right.
Doublewide was a star-studded cast this year. They had Kurt Gibson, they had Brody Smith, they had Cole Sullivan, all their Florida guys grouping up
It's a
together.
very stout team.
It
Yeah.
was.
A lot of chemistry, a lot of
Yeah.
just they've played together a lot. It shows. I wanted
Yeah.
Sockeye to win because I mean, Doublewide does win number one. I think Sockeye finished 6th that year, so going into it that Sockey's the underdog. So naturally,
Great grab beat there.
I'm hoping for exactly. You see the little stumble here. The field conditions aren't great this game. I'm
You
thinking
see a lot
maybe
of slips and
is-
falls.
Yeah, this is probably early on in the day, and there's dew. The grass is wet. It's not the best condition ever. I'm not sure if that was the greatest. I don't think that was the greatest. I think that was just kind of like I'm gonna spike this back in. There are a lot of spikes, and we will rate every spike.
That was like a
1 to 10.
5. That was like a
Oh
5.
shit! I'm gonna give it like a 3.
That's a good throw right there. That's a great throw out of bounds to a cutter coming from the middle of the field. The disc ends up on the left side of the field, but that cut starts in the middle. So the thrower there, I didn't catch who it was, doesn't have to throw it so far out of bounds to get it on that line. That was a great cut deep with a great throw.
And something that you'll hear us say a lot is the rule of thirds. And we talk about that a lot, but I believe also aside from the thirds inside the field, there's a little space outside the edge of the field that you can use to your advantage.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So if a cut ever does come from the same third of the field on the sideline, there's a little bitty kind of gap that you can thread that throw through out of bounds and let it come back in on the outside end.
No.
It's not
As you guys can
optimal.
tell, it's not even
It's
4 minutes in. We're already 4 to 3. So I mean, this game is moving quick. First half is real quick. But yeah.
yeah. If you guys ever want us to come back to something, also speak up in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us, hey, what the hell happened at
Yeah.
and we'll go back.
Yeah.
So
So I
I
want to bring a little bit of attention to the offenses that they're both running. Doublewide is using a sideline stack to begin most of their offensive points. And what Sockeye is doing to combat this is running kind of a 2-4-1, almost a 1-4-2.
There's the body.
Yeah, that's a Sockeye body. Big Cole Sullivan there, I believe, with the disc. Wrote it out. Nattenberg, I believe, with the disc. 18. Yep, Michael Nattenberg.
And he wasn't even standing in an athletic position. He was almost trying to bump him with the chest through stall 5, which is a really interesting way to do that, especially against a big guy like Cole Sullivan. There's another bump right there by
There we go.
42 from
There's
Doublewide,
another
Huge body.
fouling on the mark.
Yeah, that's Ryan Bigley.
And that's a pretty big height
there's another
matchup there. Throwing through the mark.
There's more body. Another foul call.
So
We're seeing a lot of
you
stoppage
can probably
plays right
presume
now.
that this game is going to get pretty chippy after seeing a couple of these bumps. And there's a travel call.
With the disc there. Yeah, a few iffy travel calls from Doublewide, I think, in this game. You're gonna see one later. Daniel Kralinski on a great give and go. It might actually be this point. They call travel on him. It's not this point.
That was a nice thread
That's
through.
good. Yeah, and I think a little bit, and this is something that people talk about in Ultimate a lot. Calling a foul to stop the game, great cut deep, right there.
Yeah.
Is that, ooh,
It's another one of those
foul
things.
Call right here.
Yes.
So that was a set play. I didn't catch the cutter's number there, but he just takes off right before Sockeye defense can get set.
Look at that
And
body.
just
Do you
runs.
see that downfield on the cut? He just can't get open. Number 14 there. He just,
Seattle
body.
sagging the lane here,
Nice bid.
Sockeye.
trying to go with that
There's
2-4-1.
two great bids in a row. Foul call right there. I would almost
Not sure
play
on
through
who,
that foul.
But
Yeah.
I personally, there's that sideline you were talking about. That cut's going from the same third. And he puts it right there. That was Kieran Thomas right there, 16.
Yeah. Also having the lefty
yeah.
advantage, coming with the big outside end.
Look at that quick movement right there.
Here, Doublewide's trying to throw some sort of
Yeah.
junkie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, and a
Sockeye has
big
pushed.
miss.
Ooh. Sockey's horizontal stack was pretty deep there, opening up a lot of space for those handlers to get in. See, there's probably about a good 20 yards between the stack and the handlers.
Oh yeah, they're just letting
See,
the
they're
handlers
almost-
get some good power position throws.
Ooh,
Yeah.
another foul call off the
Yeah,
mark.
That's the reason this game is only 5 turnovers is because there's so many fouls.
So many fouls.
It's true. Ooh, a good double
Yeah.
move under.
Mm.
Ooh, and the page turn
There's a cut
coming
down
from
sideline.
Sockeye. Ooh, and a big rip.
Matt Rader getting up. There he goes.
Mhm.
Matt Rader- do you
Oh,
remember that?
wait, hold on, I'm
That's a good-
pausing, I'm
Gets a
pausing.
9. He didn't
That's
care
a
what
good-
that.
That's a pretty good one. I had to
That
pause
is a
the video for
great
that. I
spike.
might go back a little bit to see that again.
That's a 9 out of 10. Just believe
Yeah,
me.
I'm gonna go back to 7 minutes so we can watch that again.
7
If you
minutes.
guys watch the video with the sound, you can really hear the crowd roaring there, and really
Yeah.
getting into it, which leads to the good
Let me know
spike.
when you press and play. Let me know when you press play.
I press play.
Oh man.
I'm still in the play. I'm at the page turn.
Oh, man, I'm
This
behind.
guy.
Give me a second update.
And you have to celebrate after a sky
Yeah,
like
this
that. That's just something you have to do.
7:30, 10. You already missed it. It was just 9 out of 10. Just take my word for it. 9 out of 10.
Oh, definitely 9 out of 10.
And here's
I have no
Cole
idea
Sullivan
what we're on right now.
hucking again. Must have been a pick
A
call.
rip deep
Receivers all alone.
comes back. Let's see. Get around right there. One thing I do want to mention is they both teams isolate their cutters pretty well. Coming off of dead discs and hucks. So they're getting really good isolation to start that movement. That is a lot of
They're
bumping
waiting on
going on
their
there.
matchups. They're just playing good matchups. They're throwing into space. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
they're getting a little bit lucky. I'm looking at, I don't know where you guys are right now because we kind of rewinded, but I'm at
Here.
820, and you just
I
had
am
a
too.
solid, just a lucky 1-up. I mean, really, that was just a good matchup.
I'm a little bit.
And
ahead.
it's-
then here comes
it's-
Sockeye answering
With
again.
another rep.
Exact same thing. Yeah,
Yeah, is
another
that,
not even
what's
13
that?
seconds later.
I think it's
Fill the red-
interesting
fill the red with
because
grape milk?
both teams are
Yeah,
forcing
yeah.
backhand at the moment.
Mhm.
Seattle again with the poach off the far handler, the far side
Great-
handler.
Great inside
Almost
shot right
double
there.
team.
Yeah.
Which Lane
There's a
Harasaki in chat's
lot of
familiar
hammer
with.
fakes. Yeah.
Well, they're threatening. I don't think the wind's too bad in this game because they are hucking a lot. So the hammer is
Mhm.
pretty threatening, especially if they're forcing backhand. It could be potentially hazardous for them.
We've already seen 1 or 2 hammer shots go off. So good pop out there, getting this moving.
Yeah,
Highly
they're throwing
speculative.
great hammers into open
Yeah.
space. I mean, that's what this game's all about: is leading your receiver and throwing to open space, and they're doing a great job.
Let's see.
Far
Ooh,
across.
Blade over the top. That is a great
So-
find.
And
Are
the
we
scoober.
Doing a pause to talk about it at halftime, or what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
go to
let's
halftime.
talk about it. I'm at 9:37 at the moment. It is
Okay. All right.
8-7, double wide.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, what do you guys
Uh,
think so far about this game? I know, chat. We've been fairly quick this game. This game is stripped down, but we're trying to do the best we can. I think it's an interesting game because there hasn't been too many turnovers. There hasn't been a break yet, I don't believe.
You're right.
No.
We're on serve.
Yeah, we aren't served. So it's
Um,
interesting because both teams are playing kind of junk, trying to stop the pull play. They're also both forcing backhands, so there must be some type of crosswind, maybe.
Mhm. I honestly I have no idea of the conditions of this game, but the notice I want to make a note of the 2 different styles of play. Double wide, even though based out of Texas, they're really embracing that Florida style of
They are.
go big or go home. Kind of that old Atlanta Chain Lightning chicks dig the long ball. With one of the fastest cutters in Ultimate at the time, Kieran Thomas, I'm not sure where he is right now. I think he's still at double wide, but still incredibly fast guy. So we mentioned earlier they have Tim Garrett, Kurt Gibson, Cole Sullivan, Brody Smith, and Chris Gibson, all from Florida. And I believe at this time Brody and Kurt are both hurt. But they're still really getting those deep shots, as opposed to Seattle Sockeye, who is using that that northwest quick movement. We see Dylan Freechild from Oregon do it a lot. Where it's just right back to the handlers, handler, get a deep cut to a hook. So you see Danny Karlinski moving with the disc a lot and getting those short little passes, and really the cutters are doing great work at opening up the spaces. Mike Caldwell, a really good cutter in my opinion, one of the older veterans. One of my favorite players actually. I can't even read this. You know what? Matt Rader, another good cutter. I'm just gonna skip over what I was gonna say. Matt Rader, another good cutter. We saw him get big once already.
Yes.
I think if Seattle starts utilizing their deep game a little bit more than they have been, even though we've seen a lot of deep shots, I think they easily pull away with this game.
I think so
I
too.
think what Seattle needs to do is kind of play better man under. As Barbie was saying, they're just not contesting the unders. They're kind of giving it up. They need to body up a little bit more on the under, and they need to play more man.
So too.
I thought he was muted on my
I
mic.
think Seattle
Yeah.
needs to try to lock down on this off the pull play. You know, when they rotate into man, they need to make the transition a little quicker, so when they do transition, they can try to stop that deep ball coming out from double wide.
Yep. Good call.
All right, so I'm at 9:37 at the moment. Do you guys want to get back into it?
Yeah.
9:37.
Give us a countdown.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So Seattle's with the disc again, trying to get a break to tie the game up.
Yeah, right back to the handler again. Nice.
They're
Nice
making
lucky
this
right there.
long strike cut.
There's the
big
body.
Bump.
There's the body.
And nothing called. Nothing called because you
No.
had a guy open. There's no point in doing it.
And
And one thing
that's
I do
number
want to mention-
24. Let's see.
Yeah, there's a turn. Seattle, especially in the second half, does a great job of just throwing through that body. I'll point it out when it comes up, but there's a great shot through a hard foul. Coming up, a laser shot deep. What a great shot!
And that's something we talked
timeout
about
call.
last week, shortening the huck a little bit. The Buzz Bullets didn't go too far with their hucks. They didn't bomb it all the way down the field. This one was, 50, 60 yard range, but still keeping it short, not bombing it all the way to the end zone. And,
Yeah.
Even though the receiver probably could have got it, and the thrower probably could have put it in the end zone, it's important that they just make
Taking
the
that shot.
legitimate shot.
You go with the disc there.
Hammer fakes.
Swinging around.
Ooh.
All the hammer fakes.
The hammer could have been there too. Is the funny thing.
It was. They were stuck there on that sideline for a second.
Nice
and did a
steal.
good job to get it off. Here comes
There's the hammer.
That's
Ooh!
right there.
Oh,
That D.
damn! That's
That
the D of the
D.
game so
That was
far.
a very nice D.
Yeah, I've seen that on a highlight reel. Almost positive. Almost a D there because he didn't run through the disc.
A Barbie on Twitch chat. What if you get body now and buy dinner later?
Sure.
In a perfect world.
Sure.
In a perfect world.
So two of the 5 turns in this game come on the same point.
Yeah.
Which is
And they come from tremendous
Very
Ds.
Interesting.
Look, that's another. He plays through that body again and actually gets called on a travel. There's a travel called. He didn't even call that bump on the mark.
Right.
It's crazy. Pick called there. Going back.
Yep. Just goes back.
Swing around.
I think I heard go flick, go flick, go flick.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
This call right here. The dump is calling a push off on the mark right there. And a great high release backhand out to that space right there.
Right out into space.
Everyone's.
Ooh, and the kick spike.
Kick
Kick
spike
spike.
coming in.
That gets a solid 7 out of 10 from me.
I'm gonna give it an 8. That was a
Ooh.
good kick spike. You got some good
In a game like this,
Middle hook
I
deep.
think I would give it an 8. Ooh, here's the matchup with Cole Sullivan.
yeah.
Sliding around.
Really did.
6'3".
It was a good read by Cole.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
Yeah, it was.
great
And here's the
body.
give and go. Ooh, with the
Oh,
layout
no,
on
it's
the
not.
mark.
That bit on the mark. It's
It was unfortunate. I think it was called for. I think if he didn't, the throw might have gotten off. But
Who the hell is Baduji in chat? I don't know.
a nice around.
Oh, still not in. Here we go. They play on that back line a lot. They're not afraid to throw the back in the end zone.
no.
That's how it is.
I
I
like
agree.
it.
And yeah, I think that's another good thing that a good team does.
Mhm.
I'm seeing in chat the video has no sound. Is that accurate?
I can turn it up a little bit.
Okay. The YouTube video, the Doublewide versus Sockeye game.
Let me know if that's too loud,
it's
chat.
super loud, yeah.
It may be a little loud in my headphones.
So this is an interesting point on the video. There's a foul call downfield on that turn, which resets the disc back 2 throws. I don't know who called the
I like
foul.
that.
I don't know what happened. I think it had to have been. You know what? I wish there's no sound on the video to actually say what it is. It just says call on the field.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're
It's an
putting
interesting
down.
point. Here's the travel right here, right there.
There it is.
Danny Karlinski called on a
did.
travel.
He did hop a couple
There.
steps.
He did, for sure. But that's again quick movement through the handlers. Karlinski,
Ooh.
one of a premier handler in Ultimate. Let's see. There's a shot right there. Gets bumped and still throws that shot up to Raider because he knows that foul's going to come back. He's got that foul in his back pocket to say, "Hey, you bumped me." There's no way there's going to be contest from that.
Mhm.
So
Tim, I'm just curious. Where are you in the chat or in the video right now?
I'm at 1441.
Okay, perfect.
That's where I'm at.
No.
That's where I am as well. It was just
Oh, and another big layout.
Oh, bid. Nice.
Yeah.
This is
Deep
where
shot
you can
open.
tell
Ooh.
people are starting to
That's a
realize this is where
good-
we need to
Yeah, sorry.
get points right now. You know,
And
make the
here
lead,
comes
get
Seattle
the
with the
plays right
flick
now.
force. See, the first half was all
Mhm.
backhand for the most part. And a
Hammer
crossfield
across the
hammer
field.
with a big D and
Which is-
bump after that.
Ooh,
And leaves him in the
great
ground.
fire.
Great
was
no
25
call, though,
from,
on that foul.
There is no call. Thank God.
Yeah,
'Cause he
Frank
totally hit
Devin
this first.
Barrich. Yeah, great no call. Barrett's doing a lot of work on this point. You see him get the disc there again, looking for the swing. Another call on the field.
That's
Pops it
sure
out
is a
right
foul.
there.
Smack
Goes
that
up
over his hand.
line.
Getting the give and
Huck deep.
goes.
I think this is a
The nice
pretty
blade.
ill-advised Huck. It's a decent shot, but he misses a man coming under there.
Yes,
There's a
He
man
does.
wide
And
open
the deep
under.
guy was double covered also under.
Yep, which is why there was a guy open.
And Cole Sullivan punching through another mark in
Oh,
his
yeah,
classic
yeah.
style.
He just loves to just go right through it. I knew you're there, but I don't really give a shit kind of attitude, you know? I'm just going to draw the foul.
And
You
you'll
went
see
plus
this.
one,
He'll
so I
actually
can
get the
that down to
huck
0.
off here.
Mm-hmm.
Through the same thing.
And it's the same exact play.
It
Um,
is.
Great bid.
He probably called another foul here
He
after
probably
that,
did.
right before that hug.
Yeah.
That's classic Cole Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
Who actually played on 40 United this year.
Oh wait.
Someone made a Buck Daily
Hold
Twitch
on,
name.
hold on.
Somebody did it.
I'm pausing the video. I'm at 16:30.
Uh-huh.
Buck Daily,
I'm going back.
welcome to the webcast. It is February 1st, 2016, the second episode of Ulti-Breakdowns, and we have a special guest, Buck Daily.
We have a Buck Daily sighting.
Buck Daily is present.
Welcome, Buck Daily.
Hey, Buck Daily.
Buck Daily.
Buck Daily wants to hear about the South. Buck Daily wants to hear about the South. What do you want to know, Buck? Buck, tell me what you want to know.
The
This
legend is here, boys. Man.
I love the J.M. Gardner with the Rudger. R-U-G-R. Rudger.
Yeah.
Rudger for the win. Rudger.
All right, but Buck
you know-
must be a little shy. Let's hear about Les
Before we start this video,
When Buck Daly's in the room, the only thing we're talking about is Buck Daly.
Buck Daly. But one thing I want to talk about before we start this video back up and start talking about Ultra, there's a Childish Gambino song, "Worst Guys" with Chance the Rapper in it that has the "Go Home, Roger." And I just want to say that all the time when Roger's around. No one's gonna get it, you know. It's like, "Go home, Roger. Tea and Tamara in my bed. I'm like, God." I just think it's a perfect thing to say to Roger sometimes.
Yeah, it would be.
It
If he
is
could
pretty good.
Drive himself home.
All right. Let's
Buck, I would
go
just
back
like to
into the
say,
video.
it is not any longer a caterpillar. It is a butterfly, and it is flourishing on my
Hey,
face.
whoever has the Facebook group needs to go ahead and put out there that Buck Daly's tuned in.
I'm on
Yes.
it. Let me post
Yes.
this. Let me post this
Post this?
before we get back into this game.
We're gonna take a 3-minute intermission.
A Buck Daily break.
Yeah, Buck Daly break.
Buck Daily
That's gonna be a
has
meme.
joined
We're gonna make that a meme.
the stream.
God,
Come
please don't
hang
make
with
it a
Buck.
meme.
Oh man. Hold on. I need to post this. I got yelled at earlier today for not posting that. There you go. All right.
I'm smiling
already.
too much. Ready to resume?
I'm just happy.
The,
The show is made. The second episode is made.
Right. Title for you need to change this title right now to Buck Daily. That's what needs to happen.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself while I have a little bit of a laugh attack. You guys don't get dragged down.
Tony, give us a countdown so we can restart this video.
Hold on, I'm updating the title right now. Ulti-Breakdowns 2012 Doublewide versus Sockeye with Buck Daly. Because why not?
The Buck Daily. Actually, one thing I do want to mention before we get this start down, I have marked on here 1650 to make note of the Fish's defense of that 2-4-1. So just be on the lookout for it when it starts. I'm going to mention it. So let's get this countdown and let's go.
Okay, I'm at 6:30 right now. If everyone's ready to start back up.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. And I'll stop it at 6:50. And that's another huck by that's another huck in the game.
Another kick spike. I'm gonna get that kick spike as 6 because they've already done that.
Okay,
It's
I'm-
a bit like
Here comes double wide with the side stack again, and they come right out of it due to the 2-4-1.
Mm-hmm. And the Sockeye is going to fall right into man here, too. Almost a seamless transition. James, are you still laughing?
Well, I got a text from Wayne Harrisaki. He says, "Who the fuck is Buck Daly?" Oh, sorry about that, Bob. But who is
Beep.
Buck Daly?
Sorry, James. Sorry, Miss Cody. Sorry, Miss
Sorry,
Cody.
Mrs. Cody.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah,
Good
sorry,
around
all
shot
you-
here, Kieran Thomas.
There's a lot of space to that break side. And another up the line to the break side over the top.
Oh, nice fake. Well, sort of. We just got a flailer. I bet there was a foul called on that one, but
I think Seattle had some confusion on the force there. There's one guy forcing flick, and that's how
Great
the
hammer.
second hammer got off.
yeah, I think you're right.
That is a really big height mismatch. That I just want to point out, I'm not all for it. James is still losing it here.
I'm sorry. I just saw Buck Daly says, "Does the third guy, which is you, Tim, know that there's a camera?" Because your head's just
I
like
can't
down
do it.
the
I
whole
can't
time.
look at the camera.
You cannot.
I'm watching the
His
video. It's hard for me.
I'm just gonna
It's hard for me. I don't know. I'm camera shy.
restraint.
Whatever. One thing I do want to mention is, again, that height mismatch that Cole Sullivan has on his guy. I'm not sure if I like that defensive strategy of having a smaller guy on Cole, who is a huge threat deep. We haven't seen a lot this game, so I guess it's working. Apparently I'm wrong. I guess it's working. but
Okay.
he has no problem throwing that low hammer over it.
Okay, I'm
Right.
I'm pausing again. I'm gonna pause at 1831, and we should
Alright.
talk about this because this is something that we've talked about a little bit before the video started. Is Doublewide's roster this year in 2012?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
they have a couple good cutters. You know, they have Chris Gibson, Kurt Gibson, good throwers. They do have Sullivan. They also have Brody Smith. So I think
Yeah.
it's difficult for Sockeye to make those matchups. You know, who are they going to guard deep? Are they going to guard Sullivan or are they going to guard Brody? Both of them have excellent throws. Both of them are very tall. Um,
Yeah.
so maybe that's where Sockeye makes the mistake here, is putting the short guys on the line. Maybe that's why there's so many hucks in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to mention is this was the first year that we see a lot of people coming to a team not located in the city. We've already mentioned the Florida guys. Kieran Thomas, I think, moved actually to the area from Atlanta. But after this, we saw that huge Johnny Bravo lineup. It was that 14, 15? Man, I'm horrible with years. But we see that again
okay.
when Bravo does it. And this was the first year that we kind of see people farming out for teams. But yeah, we've already mentioned the four guys. Breakout year for Dalton Smith this year, an A&M guy, now a household name, gets that huge D early on in that finals game in nationals. Great game to watch. But yeah, another college guy, Will Driscoll, makes some good plays for Doublewide nationals this year. Great roster. They were the favorite to win as soon as they announced their roster. They were the favorite to win, and kind of, I didn't want them to win this year. I was like, man, they got because we've all seen the Florida video where they're throwing people to the ground. We've all seen the Florida video where they're throwing people to the ground to get Ds, and it's kind of like they were the bad guys of Ultimate at this point in time.
Yeah.
But you can't take anything away from how good this squad is.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just, to say again, right now I have it paused. I have it paused at 1831, and we see Cole Sullivan downfield beating his man under with a high matchup. Why he's going under, I'm not sure. I mean, he has the steps. He's probably going to get the disc. The thrower's open to his side.
Right.
And, there might be another huck once Cole gets it. I'm not sure. Let's find out.
Yeah. So we took a break and talked about that Doublewide roster. Let's go ahead and hit on the Sockeye roster.
Okay.
A more veteran roster. We see Nate Castine, Danny Karlinski, Joe Sefton, Mike Caldwell, the oldest by far, 36 years old on this team, master's age, playing on this team. Matt Sewell, I hope I'm saying that right.
You are.
And Sam Harkness. All names that should be recognizable if you've been following Ultimate. But they also have a good mix of young players in there as well. They have Simon Montague, Carleton player.
Which is also becoming a pretty good name.
Yeah, I remember learning about him a while ago. He was a favorite to win Callahan if they would have submitted a video for him. Carleton does a great thing where they don't submit Callahan videos because they are a team. They do. It's a team sport. They don't want to single anyone out. Another young player, Matt Rader, 21 at the time of this game. He's now a household name. Played on the Next Gen Tour. Plays out there in the AUDL for them, making some great plays down there. And my favorite player to watch, Reed Goss, plays with glasses. Well, now he plays with contacts, but at the time plays with glasses. When I first heard of Reed Goss, people would make fun of him because he's playing in glasses and be like, "Man, that guy must be bad at Ultimate." But is the defensive captain and the leader of the squad. He is my inspiration. Hey, he's 5'11". I'm 5'11 and 3/4, 6 foot on Tinder. Thanks,
Oh
Lil
my
Dicky.
god, dude. That's
No, let's keep going.
Speaking of-
Tell us your secrets, Tim.
Yes.
Tell us your secrets.
There's a all Dickie song.
His secret is that he swipes right forever. Forever. And then he messages everybody.
Whatever. Like I'm just gonna throw the rap quotes out all night now. We've hit Childish Gambino, we've hit Little Dicky. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
All right. Speaking of keep going, we're gonna get back into the game.
Let's do it.
Again, I am at 1831. You guys ready for a countdown?
Third.
All right. 3, 2,
course.
1, play. Cole actually didn't get it under, but now he's getting it deep with the height matchup.
Yeah. Yeah. Swing around to Spears there.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
back to the
okay.
force
Nice.
backhand and a big fake.
Exploiting the poach.
Sockeye's starting to get beat to both sides in this game. I wonder if they're getting a little bit
They are.
tired as it goes to 12-11.
I think they're
just
bidding.
They're getting the poached. Yeah.
I think they're also bidding very, very harshly on the mark. They're bidding for all the throws, hoping to get a hand block.
D. Great catch. That
Really,
was a
really
dangerous
iffy switch
throw.
there.
Yeah. Swing
No round
around.
and he gets it. No round. He
Are
gets
double wide forcing flat and middle here?
It looks like there's
Hard to
another
tell,
there's
'cause
another
it's still not
throw
holding
through
it.
the bump right there, which is good. That point we didn't see as much of the handler movement as we have been, but also it didn't seem like Double Y was shutting it off. I wonder if Sockeye's changed their strategy a little bit.
I think so. I think double wide almost forced middle there. Here comes Sockeye again with the poachy, saggy junk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're almost forcing that sideline. Kieran Thomas gets in the middle there. Back to number 11, right there. Trey Math.
Ooh, that was a nice roll by Sockeye.
Yeah.
This poach
Tough
just
line
isn't
shot.
working for them.
But I wonder if it's all they can do. You know, Double Wide is a really physical squad. They don't want to really play them tight and get pushed around because they're outsized.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah. I mean,
Great
they're
break
just
right
getting
there.
broken. I mean, that's the thing.
break, that's open shot.
A
There's
lot
a
of breaks
wide
out
open
there.
man under. Let's see, Raider calling it for the side on that sideline there. They
Mhm.
then goes deep.
I think the backpack's coming up, isn't it, in this game?
It's soon. There's not a whole lot more points. Good hammer over the
Ooh.
top. See. Philip Murray with that.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
All
there
right,
is.
so I'm gonna
Oh, there's
pause
the
it
flag
right
around him.
here.
Yeah.
We're
Man.
I'm gonna say 0 out of 10 on the spike-o-meter just because of the spirit play, and he wasn't in the end zone. It's the only time you're allowed to spike.
Wasn't it? What do y'all feel about that play though? That it looks like he gets tripped up a little bit on it and backpacks into him.
He does. That's
but
number
they've been-
24, Rory Orloff, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think he's played pretty physical the entire game, and I don't think Sockye's taken too well to it. I think it's been a little out of the comfort zone or out of a normal realm of physicality that's in Ultimate, or at least high-level Ultimate. He's asking for it here, I think. And it does seem like he's getting tripped up. I don't think he meant it 100%. I don't think he meant to hurt the guy, at least. I will run it again, chat. I know you guys are asking. Let's back up. I'm going to back up to 2031, where the swing happens.
Okay.
Yeah. Who throws the spike there? I can't see who it is.
It was the guy that got bodied. He just turned around and definitely. Here, I'm going to pause
Yeah,
it right
do we have a-
here.
do we have
I'm
do we
going to
have a
pause at 2047. I'm not sure exactly who it was. I think you mentioned his name earlier, but I can't remember. So here Sockeye comes again with a long cross cut. And I think this is the type of cut that
Pause.
asks to get D'd. Because you're on a one-on-one even matchup straight to a sideline that the disc is coming to. So it's not only hard for the cutter to get the disc, it's also very hard for the thrower because it's about a 10-yard throw and you have to throw it around the defender that's coming in. And here he's coming in for a layout. So
Keep it pause real quick, Tony.
Okay.
I just want to mention J.M. Gardner kind of makes a great point that the Northwest players hate the physicality of the South. I know we've experienced this a few when we've gone up there. Me and you, Tony, are pretty physical players. James as well. All kind of bigger guys that can push people around a little bit.
Yes.
I know my style of defense is very much get in your way and stop you from going where you want to go rather than try to catch up.
I
And
have a
I've
name for
actually had
this.
some pushback on that.
I like to call it a proactive style of defense. Because in this instance here in the game, it's not proactive, it's reactive. He's trying to be physical to a play on the disc, whereas you should be physical preventing a play on the disc. And trying to prevent movement from the cutter, prevent movement from the receiver, prevent a throw from happening off with your body. And I think that's the correct way to do it, and I think here in this game it is an incorrect way to do it.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and restart. Tony, can you give me a spot where you're on the game?
I'm going to try to
Back to it.
go back a little bit because I'm right where the throw happens. I'm at 2036.
2036. All right, got it. Give us a count.
All right, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Let me see if I can see.
So the hammer comes
the
across,
stoppage.
and this is the right
the
time,
hammer.
and he cuts straight back from that throw to get that disc.
Let's see. So I think that's Karlinski that actually is throwing it then, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and I've paused it again. I'm at 2051, and I don't think the defender had a play on the disc at all. I don't think he was
did
close
either.
on the layout. He just bumped into him directly after and pushed him out of bounds, which is an
Right.
unspirited
Yeah.
thing to do.
You can see his momentum. Yeah, it's. I mean, he lets his head fall down. He's not even watching. He's just intent on the disc and then just runs into him. I mean,
And
it's very. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
believe-
he's tripping also. It's an unathletic, way to play the game. It's an
Mm-hmm.
unspirited way to play the game. It's just bad.
Right. It's just inconsiderate. I mean, it's just the way it is. So.
Good move
I-
on the
I-
Sockeye player's part. I believe he takes off. He goes off the field after that. Maybe even got injured from it. So just for around.
And I think Orlov continues to play this point after doing that.
What a good. That's a great round shot. Kind of putting it out in space and letting the player run onto it. Good break there. There's no cut going to that break side. Maybe there's one off screen there, but other than that, really missed opportunity. The mark was out of position. They had all that field to work with. No cut there.
Hey Tim,
though.
I'm at
There it goes, though.
2025 or 2125. Also, we need to pause for a second because Buck Daly is leaving the stream.
Oh.
Do we need to give a send off?
Was I talking about the point ahead of the point?
A little
Yeah.
bit. I replayed it a couple times.
Oh.
It's
I
okay.
apologize. Buck Daly.
All right, should we just
did you,
give a good old
farewell?
salute? Let's give a salute on 3. 1,
Well,
2, 3.
Do we have to?
Salute.
You have to, James. You have to.
I already did it. And I put a heart in chat because I've got lots of love for Buck Daly. As a
Yeah.
heckler, I really appreciate Buck and what he brings. To the community. He or she.
He or she. Or he, she.
Oh man,
It's.
shoot.
It's.
Give me a time update real quick, Tony, because I'm bad at keeping time.
That's my fault. I replayed it for the chat a couple times. We're at 21:32. They wanted to see the spike. While Tim's doing that, Colsey Bear, the difference between a hammer and a huck. A huck can be a hammer. A huck is just a long throw. A hammer can be a long throw, or it can be a short throw. Typically, 40 yards and over is considered a huck.
Mhm.
Yeah, I actually back on that. I'm not sure I mentioned this last week, but one of the things that I've been focusing lately on my game is being 100% at that 40-yard shot, and I think that's something that really, instead of trying to be able to throw that long, full field huck, you need to be able to be 100% on that 40 yards with every single throw.
Absolutely.
Just a side note there. So practice. Practice that.
All right. 21-32
Yep.
All right.
and 3-2-1. Go.
Disc in.
So he's
Good,
tapping the
baby.
disc in. Orlov's tapping the disc in.
Mhm.
Forcing flick here, and the whole game's been back and forth on who's gonna force what. It's been both backhand and flick here.
There's that shot I was talking about. I'm not sure if everyone saw it, but
The nice around there is very
Yeah.
interesting.
there's a break. Here's what I'm talking about. You see Raider kind of
Another travel
go
call.
force side there. Raider cuts from the middle stack force side instead of going break side. I don't know what he was thinking there. Really should have brought it out to that break side with that throw happening. There's that pop out though. Great around shot.
And Orlov
I like that spike,
with
too.
the karma, getting beat to the cone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's that quick spike.
Yeah,
Always.
that's a good
Very
one.
nice.
I didn't even
I'll
notice
give that a
it.
5.
It's great.
I'll give that a 5. It was
Actually
very
illegal
in your
now.
face after that
You
play.
can't do that.
You can't do what?
You can't do the clap spike anymore or the catch it and throw it down right away.
Oh yeah, that's
because
correct.
there are too many.
Wow. What a throw.
Ooh,
That's an
Misread.
Unfortunate.
A little bit of a misread. I'm not even sure if that's that was a great jump on the disc.
Injury called, looks like.
Mhm.
Awful misread, but
Must have rolled an ankle there, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
good hammer over the top. Raider with it. I don't even see Raider's number. I can just tell by his body. Is a very unique looking person. That is a late bump on that mark. That is
It
a
is.
very late bump.
It's another Cole Sullivan mark trying to stay big.
Yeah, gets fooled anyways.
And another
shot,
outside in. Mhm.
That's great. Is that a break to win?
That is win for Sockeye.
That is a break. That is a break to win. So Sockeye wins 14-13 over
Mhm.
Doublewide this game.
quite the upset.
Yeah.
Spoiler
Let's,
alert. Sockeye wins.
Sockeye wins.
All right. Well, that was an
Okay.
excellent game, gentlemen.
Yeah. Yeah. So keys to the game for Sockeye. What do you think they were?
Quick handler movement. That's something we touched on a little bit earlier. I think both teams did very, very well with the deep ball. Separation off the one-on-one matchups in the end zone. I think they both did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think you guys for a better performance from either team. They both did a really good job. Sockeye just happened to get a break at the end, and that sealed it for him. The cat blew, I think, 13-13. So I think that was Universe. And I think
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah,
Sockeye played the double wide defense very well. I think even though double wide was playing a style that might have taken them out of their comfort zone, they kept at it. They worked through it. They worked through the bump on the mark.
Yeah.
They worked through the poach, the switching on forces. They didn't take a surprise to anything that double wide threw at them.
Yeah. One thing that you kind of touched on there, but not explicitly say, is both teams played their style of play in this game. I was talking about the whole game. Double wide plays physically. Sockeye plays quick. And in this matchup, the Sockeye quickness outplays the double wide physicality. So I think going to nationals, you see double wide this year make much more of an adjustment to playing to others' games and kind of stopping what they want. They make a real good adjustment in that finals game against, I believe, Revolver.
It was
to kind of stop the Revolver style of play, stop that those big undershots, and make Revolver play outside of their comfort zone. And ultimately, that's how they win nationals. Is they make people feel uncomfortable playing their style of game. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
Any
think
questions
that's a pretty
from?
good summary.
Any questions from chat? Any about the game? Something that you want us to touch on real quick, or think we've missed? I know there's gonna be a delay here, but
Or want to see it again, we can go through the game again and see any play
We
in
can watch the
particular.
whole thing over again if we need to.
We could.
It's
Yeah.
only 30. It's only 23-minute games. My mic hand is threatening.
Yeah.
I have to pull my mic up.
You should see it when you can't see the mic hand, and it's really
Oh.
terrible.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we can hang out a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see.
I dive grass.
Things we can talk about. Night, Dave. Let's see. So, Tony, we have night watch practice in 3 weeks. Me and Tony have both made final large roster for night watch.
I guess we can call it selections.
Yeah, it's weird. But player is on that list too, I believe. But
Yeah, I mean, right now there's a 40-man roster. They're going to break it down to 27, 28. I'm not sure when the cutoff period for the season is. It might be before the season starts this year. It was about 6 or 7 weeks into the season last year. So they were waiting for they were waiting for college nationals to finish, I believe, and get everybody out of finals and back into their homes, but move back home and then sign on a roster, which is probably probably good for a lot of teams. It was good for the Jacksonville Cannons. They picked up a lot of players. It was good for the Flyers. They picked up a couple players right in the middle of the season that took them to the playoffs.
Yeah. I'm personally excited for it. Team seems much better run this year. Really love what Ryan Balch, captain, player coach, is doing. Really loved how well practice was run. I don't think there was any stepping on toes either, which was great.
I agree. Yeah.
Tyler Conger came in right when he needed to a lot of times to explain some things. Craig Stewart, never met him before, great guy, defensive captain. And you also had other people like Tom Radcliffe, Paul Lally, some of the Night Watch marquee players kind of really stepping up and saying, hey, this is kind of our role, and this is what we kind of want to see you do. And kind of setting a good tone for the year.
Yeah, I think so. Everything, especially at practice, felt very cohesive. Last year was a little broken up. There was a lot of mixed talent, a lot of mixed feelings about why a team should be in Nashville, why, where kind of in the South are the hotbeds, why are they there, and why aren't teams in, other places. I know us being in Chattanooga, we want a Chattanooga team a lot. I think we have a good venue for it. But
Finley's great.
Finley is great.
One thing I do want to mention is Atlanta Hustle having their first tryouts this weekend. What do you think, Jenny? A little late to the game.
I don't think it's late. I mean, there's still months and months till the season actually starts. I just think they're getting in a time that's good for them. I think it's, right after Christmas break, everybody just got back to school. I think it's a good weekend for it. All holidays are over. I think it's a good time to play Ultimate. It's right in the middle of the off season. So there's still time for training camps. There's still time for workouts. There's still time for classroom sessions. So, there's a lot of work to be done right before the season starts. And I'm excited to see where the AUDL takes us this year, because I think this is gonna, it's gonna be the biggest year yet, and it's just exciting to see.
Cool. James, preseason pick already. What's your preseason pick for AUDL champions?
Do I have? I mean,
you don't have
let's
to.
go
I'm just
with,
spreading out these questions.
I honestly have no idea at this point. I think it's up in the air. I think it's all about the chemistry. Whichever team has the best chemistry is going to win it. Is the fact, I think. Because so we said Sockeye, just 8 of them got recruited for. Which team was that, Tim?
Revolver for San Francisco Flamethrowers.
So that's going to be a pretty big threat. because early on they're going to have a lot of potential or like
Yeah,
early
Joe
season wins. So it's just going to be probably them dominating the first few games where other teams are struggling to build chemistry. Then maybe later on in the season, we'll see a couple teams that have built chemistry and have earned their spots to kind of catch up and contest them.
I think so too. I think some of these younger teams are gonna have this off season to really buckle down and to get that cohesiveness and that chemistry. Pittsburgh is a good example of that. They're a really young squad, a nice college town, hotbed for Ultimate, and I think they're gonna really, get their heads in the game and take that Midwest region, and that could be an interesting thing to see because there's a lot of teams that are doing that. I think the Charlotte Express is another one of those teams, a good young team. Didn't win a lot of games this past year. The South came out to be a pretty tough division inside of itself. We'll talk about, cross-division stuff later, but, there's a lot of teams out there that are young and willing to put in the work to make it to make themselves better.
Well, I hope they do because I would love to see that. I think, the better people get, the better it is for Ultimate in general. So,
yeah. James, you want to talk about what we just saw in chat? Ozone ladies went and tried out for the hustle.
really,
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that actually.
Oh, okay.
Barbie,
I
do you have
thought
any
were
names to
responding in
drop?
chat.
Hold on, Barbie, do you have any names to drop for Ozone ladies?
I can send her. Yeah,
Yeah.
she might have.
I personally think it's great. I mean, there are some great female ultimate players out there that could probably hold their own in this league. I not probably could definitely hold their own in a men's league. And one of the draws to ultimate, I know for the Olympics, there's been a lot of talking. Is Ultimate going to go to the Olympics? Is it going to be in there in the next few Olympics? And I know one of the draws is that it is a co-ed sport at the highest level. There's mixed nationals at the same time. There is women's nationals and men's nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's great. I think it shows great resolve by those ladies, and I hope one of them makes it. There was that one girl that played in a game last year. Tony, do you remember who it was?
I don't remember her
Raleigh
name. It was a Raleigh player. She was from North Carolina. I don't remember her name. I could probably look it up. But I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. The AUDL does have a different format, as everyone knows. The field is very, very large. And I did play against her, and every time she was on, they had to run zone. They couldn't help but run man because of the skill in the athlete matchup. It's just going to be a hard thing to go forward with, I think. Not saying anything about women's ultimate. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying I hope it happens, but in order for that to happen, it's going to have to work very well.
Yeah, I think one woman that could definitely hold her own in a men's game would be Opie Payne. Jinmi was hanging out with us the other day and showed us a video. I don't have it in this notebook, but it was the Manila Spirits All-Star game, USA mixed versus Japan mixed, and Opie Payne makes one of the best Ds I've ever seen anyone make, male or female. It just flies through the air, comes around from the front, and just swats the disc away. Great, and the crowd just starts cheering OP. Really great and a great player. Also, Opie
I did see that.
Yeah, Opie Payne has a highlight in an early highlight reel. I think it's 07. Is the only female in that highlight reel. So she's a great player. Could definitely hold her own.
Definitely.
With the males. I kind of want to backtrack though and talk about a little bit about that mixed game, that Japan mix versus USA mix. I watched it earlier this week. Actually stayed up till 4 o'clock Saturday night watching it. I was actually explaining it to John, my roommate. You saw him walk through here earlier. There's such a difference in the style, the Japanese style of play and the US style of play that I really enjoy analyzing and watching and talking and thinking about. Japan has some very interesting set plays in that game to isolate their cutters to the break side, opening up a lot of the field. So if you want to watch a game and just look at some set plays, go to it, pause before every point when the disc gets centered, and look at how they're set up and see if you can see what kind of set play they're going. That was a good exercise I did. Yes, the Japanese are fast as asterisk.
There's another woman that I'm trying to find from Oregon's women's team. Schaffner, I believe it was. Yes. She had 22 assists in the USA College Championships. I'm looking at it right now.
Wow.
Beast of a player. All of the Oregon girls were tearing it up. I think they eventually went 13-0. I believe, I'm pretty sure they went 13-0 in college championships. So if you guys want to watch some serious women's ultimate, go check out Oregon State's women's team from last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's start wrapping it up here.
Thank God, I really gotta pee, and I'm not wearing pants.
One thing that I'm super excited for that's coming up is once all these AEDL rosters get set, and once we start entering into the season, we are going to play Fantasy Ultimate. We're going to get a group together and play. I think we're aiming for 8 people.
If that happens, I might make a mini website on our standings on every week. I may try to do that. That may be a fun thing to do.
That'd be great.
Name update from Oregon. It looks like Haley Walrus is who we're talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, Hannah Leathers, also a great player. But back to this Fantasy Ultimate. We were talking about it on the way back from Nashville this week. I'm super excited about it. Peppers is gonna play with us. I talked to Dave Grass about playing with us. I think he'd be super fun to play with.
Yeah, I agree.
He said it was a little bit of shit. But yeah, I'm excited.
We'll take Tori, a couple of other guys that are active in our chats. Anybody that wants to play from our chat.
Yeah, let's get Grant in on this.
Anybody who's being a part of Ulti-Breakdowns is. And by the way, for the people that are in chat, there are like 5 or 6 other guys that are helping us out doing this behind the scenes, giving us feedback. And a shout out to all of those guys if you're watching. Appreciate it. So, I think that's going to do it for tonight.
Yeah, give us a follow on our channel.
Press that follow button.
Last week's video is posted. That's a fault on mine. I forgot to social media that thing. But if you want to go back and see how much we've improved in 1 week, you can go watch the horribleness that was last week. But
we got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Give us a follow on Twitter. Give us a follow on Twitter.
Like on Facebook.
Give us a like on Facebook.
A follow on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. On YouTube. Shout out to JM Gardner for being on the stream. Jose, I've played with you before. Awesome to see people from out of town tuning in and watching us. Spread it out there.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate you being here. So thanks for everyone else who tuned in, and I think that's it for us. Anything else, guys?
That's it. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in to Ulti-Breakdowns.
Yes, thank you guys. See you next week.